Hello people, welcome to another video. In this one, I'm going to be covering loads of people are reporting that there's tick boxes that are being found everywhere in farms, mainly in America, where it's been reported, and that they're finding tick boxes like everywhere. Ticks are meant to just be everywhere in America. I've seen certain videos of people saying, I know how a tick season works. You do get some, but this is just on another level. And realistically, the main concern with that is they carry diseases. And also to add more, danger or concern for people is the fact that they believe that they're genetically modified. Is that true or not? Who knows? But would it surprise you in this day and age? And we do know that you get Lyme's disease and other diseases from them. And it is pretty widely reported, on the conspiracy theory, in the conspiracy theory realm, quote unquote, always seems to turn out true, that, they're being genetically modified to, make you allergic to red meat and things like that. So it's all a bit sinister, really, because who wants to be going out anyway, regardless, in the woods or the forest and there's ticks covering you? You do not want that. So let's have a look into some videos. This might be a longer video. Not all my videos are going to be long because I'm going to look into quite a lot of the videos just to sort of back up the evidence on it, maybe not so much evidence, but just to get a feel for what's actually getting said. So let's look at this video. This is apparently one from Alex Jones, saying it's from, in the USA, he's outright claiming it's genetically modified weaponized ticks are being dropped from the sky onto farms in boxes. Folks on the ground have documented the events hundreds of times. Bill Gates is, of course, in charge of the attacks. So let's have a look. So this is apparently boxes of them, I presume being dropped from a plane or something, just spread all across the forest, or the forests and lands, farms. So, I mean, looking at that video, it's hard to really prove that, but if it is, but here's another one, and this one looks very concerning. Let's have a look. So that's meant to be a dead deer crawling with ticks. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think that's a normal scenario. I think when we envision a dead body of an animal or anything, it's maggots. I think we can agree that that's a bit odd. That looks very bad. That is riddled with ticks. That's serious. And then you've got this one. That's just
15 minutes taken.
Let's see. Oh, better. Sorry guys. This is not working out the way I wanted it to. Right, here.
15 minutes taking these ticks off my clothes.
Pardon my ignorance, what is the disease you described, the other one? Rickettsia?
So it's a rickettsia. It is the same organism that causes Rocky-Mountain spotted fever, and that's the most deadly tick-borne disease in the United States. It also was a germ that was being weaponized by the U.S. military at the time, and they tried to stuff it in ticks. I mean, so what is tick weaponization? So in the interviews with Willie, what he said was, I spent over a decade in the biological weapons program, a contractor to Fort Detrick, working on weaponizing fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes, trying to mass produce them, stuffing fleas with the plague, stuffing mosquitoes with deadly Trinidad virus, and then stuffing ticks with either deadly or incapacitating diseases like relapsing fever, Venezuelan equine encephalitis, rabies, leptospirosis, which is another spirochete. So it's just like Dr. Strangelove trying to make new diseases, mixing bacteria and virus in ticks with the intent of, this is the perfect stealth weapon. It's poor man's nuke. You drop these insects on an enemy. It weakens the population. It ties up the medical resources, but doesn't destroy infrastructure like a nuclear bomb would. And in one report from a bean counter in the military, they said, tularemia, which is tick-borne tularemia, also rabbit fever, we can kill 10,000 people at $1.33 a life. So anyways, it was just, there was more to tick-borne diseases than we realized, and I began suspecting that Willie was right, given this context.
It's hard to digest all of this. It's just so evil.
Yeah, I mean, that is crazy. I mean, it's like, what do you even make of that? It's like, is this reality? Because look, the bottom line is, I did used to wonder, funnily enough, when I was younger, very young, maybe about, because I used to go abroad a lot with my parents and my mum and whatever, and I always remember I was a bit paranoid because I had OCD about catching diseases and germs. I've always been a bit like that, not so much now, but back then my brain would be in overtime about how to avoid germs, and I always remember you got bit off mosquitoes, yeah, and then my brain started going, what if I can catch AIDS from that? Now, I don't know why, but that was what my brain thought. But it turns out it wasn't too crazy, you know? So let's see what this video is saying. I've seen people talking about ticks, but no one is really talking about the disease alpha-gal that is spreading like wildfire all throughout Alpacia. How do you say that? Appalachia. I forgot to mention you can't have dairy products either. Yeah. This is the biggest health epidemic no one's talking about. So let's watch this.
All right, I've seen a lot of people talking about ticks here lately, and I'm happy that people are, but I don't think most people who are posting about it really fully understand what's going on with this situation, or at least the major tick issue that's going on, especially in the Appalachian region. I've grown up here my entire life. Yes, it does seem like there's more ticks now than there used to be, absolutely, but that's not really the major issue. We used to be covered in ticks growing up, and we just pick them off of us, but the concern now is this tick right here. It's called the Lone Star tick, and it carries this disease called alpha-gal. And if you get bit by a Lone Star tick that has alpha-gal and you become infected with it, you can never eat red meat again for the rest of your life, as far as we know. Same for pork. You can have what they call fins and feathers. You can have chicken, turkey, and seafood. And that's really about it in terms of the meat department. Anything else causes severe reactions to people. Some people have, to at least most people, some people have mild symptoms, but a lot of people have very severe symptoms. It could be indigestion problems, but I think one of the worst I've heard and seen is a major flare-up, like a rash or poison ivy, but my family member told me it's 10 times worse than poison ivy or poison oak or anything like that, and there's nothing that makes it go away until the red meat kind of gets out of your system. She had a major flare-up from eating something that was cross-contaminated with beef. She didn't even eat beef. It was cross-contaminated with beef at a restaurant, and she had a major flare-up, hives and stuff all over her. This is the major issue right now in terms of the Appalachian region. I can't speak to the rest of the country, but look, I've lived here my entire life. It seems to me as if this just popped up out of nowhere, okay? And I know a kid as young as 7 years old who has this, can't eat red meat for the rest of his life, just a kid playing out in the woods. So my question is where did this come from? Where did it come from? Was this created in some way? What is going on here? Because this is a major issue that's having long lifetime, as far as we know, lasting impact on children and American citizens, and nobody seems to be talking about this. If you want to talk about ticks and you guys want to actually do some research, look into alpha-gal. Help us out here in the Appalachian region. We don't know what's going on, and this is, quite frankly, it's pretty scary as a parent. Like I said, I used to get covered in ticks. I'm terrified, and I know every parent around here is terrified of their kids to get covered in ticks now, or even have one tick, because when we were little, you just picked them off, and people can say it's gross, whatever. If you live in a city, that's fine. I don't care about that, but there wasn't a long-term health. I mean, Lyme's disease, but it wasn't prevalent. This is, like I'm telling you, everywhere. I know dozens of people who have alpha-gal. This is nuts. This is insane, and it's coming from ticks. What is going on right now with the Lone Star tick and alpha-gal? What state are you in? Do you know anybody who has alpha-gal, and have you ever heard of this? Let us know. Maybe this is just an Appalachian thing. I don't know.
Yeah, so as you can hear there, that guy's even saying, even where he's from, there is a lot of ticks normally, but they know the layout of the land, and all of a sudden people are catching this disease. He never said in what time period, but I'm presuming it's relatively somewhat in the past few years or whatever, that they've just started catching this disease called alpha-gal or whatever he said, and it makes you allergic to red meat. And this is where people are tying in Bill Gates because he wants you to eat lab-grown meat, and a lot of people are pinning it on him. Where's the actual evidence? Well, I guess if you delve very deep enough, you'll find a good sort of a amount of things to convince you. But the thing is, regardless, what happened there? Regardless, it's pretty sinister, Oh, it took me back out. And to think that you can catch a disease that can make you allergic to meat and literally ruin your life. And dairy products, that's next level evil. If that's being genetically modified for that purpose, that lets you know how evil people really are. I think if you've been on the planet long enough and you've seen enough, you pretty much know that with some people there is no ceiling to the evil. They will push it and push it because some people just love to be evil. Here's another video: bioengineered tick warfare, right on cue. Pfizer. Oh, well, I'm not going to read all that. That's a bit much. But let's watch the video.
They're also launching basically the next COVIDs, which is going to come in the form of ticks this time. Ticks that cause a rare, dangerous red meat allergy are spreading. What precautions can you take? That's interesting. Ticks that cause a red meat allergy. I could have sworn I heard that somewhere once. At Davos.
So for example, I have milk intolerance, and some people are intolerant to crayfish. So possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you, you'll become allergic to meat. I can sort of describe the mechanism. So that's something.
So there you are. Now, if anybody's in the loop and they know what the WEF and Davos and the globalists are, this is right on their this is right up their street. This is exactly what they love. They wake up in the morning and they go, how can I destroy humanity today? These are the type of people you're dealing with. To keep it simple, they've got too much money and they're just literally evil. They're not good. So you can have a good rich person and a good evil, a rich evil person. Sadly, I believe, and many people believe, our world is run by rich, evil people. And that's coming pretty much from the horse's mouth, because these people are at the top of the pyramid, as far as we can see in the public eye, of the globalists, who, there's different stories you can go on, things like they want to depopulate the planet, etc. You could make loads of different videos on the globalists, but this specific one is just one little warfare on how to just torture us and really control us and play with humanity. They love to play with humanity. They love to try and play God, but in a sense mock him. And really it's the devil that they're trying to embrace, because, let's be real, nobody with any good intention would, just look at the Epstein files, etc. You can go on, but we're dealing with a lot of evil people that are in power here, and this is them literally sitting discussing it when they meet up at Davos and the WEF. It's, it's not like it's just complete conspiracy theory. These are people who are running the world, and they're sitting discussing openly what they want for our future. This is what they do, and they openly discuss it because they believe, and it seems like they're in a position of power where nobody can stop them. That's why when you look around, there's no democracy. It's tyrannical,
Thing that we can do through human engineering. We can kind of possibly address really big world problems through human engineering.
Yeah, and they even had Tucker Carlson, who's controlled opposition, come out and tell you, because that's part of what controlled opposition does. They tell you some of the truth. They put it in your face. Most people won't even listen.
It is the the same organism that causes Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and that's the most deadly tick-borne disease in the United States. It also was a germ that was being weaponized by the U.S. military at the time, and they tried to stuff it in ticks. I mean, so what is tick weaponization? So in the interviews with Willie, what he said was, I spent over a decade in the biological weapons program, a contract.
Yeah, well, we listened to that video, didn't we? I'm sure. No way to play the same video twice. But like it's not like you type it in and there's nothing comes in. You know, it's like, and then here's Alex Jones blaming Bill Gates. I'll not play a 13-minute video, but you know, and then here's Grok try to clear it up. Do we always trust Grok? Nope, because people believe it's AI and it's got its own mind. Look, let's be real, people. I think if you believe that, you know, you're quite gullible. It's being programmed. It's a viral rumour with no evidence. The tick boxing farms claim originated from unverified social media posts in 2026. So Grok's claiming this doesn't exist. And here's apparently another helicopter caught dropping the tick boxes. So let's have a look at this video.
We have no clue who these people are or what they're doing, but they're on our fucking top field. Who the fuck? What are y'all even doing? I don't know about you, but I'm on this fuck. Literally, in our top field. Oh, there they go. We have no clue who these people are or what they're doing,
I don't know if that's great evidence
but they're on our
them dropping tick boxes, but apparently, you know, this is what's being put forward there. Livestock farmer who has raised horses for 30 years in Ohio raises a lamb. I've never had to deal with so many ticks. I can't stand the tick situation anymore. They're everywhere.
Kid you not, we've had to spend like over $100 in the last 5 minutes because I can't take the tick situation anymore. The tick situation in this state. There are ticks everywhere. In 30 years, 20 some years of having horses, I've never had to deal with these many ticks. I'm pulling off ticks of his body, cleaning him up. I did that the last few days. Today I just had to put more medication on him. Poor thing, he's got like meds everywhere. Look at poor thing. Oh my God. I'm sorry, buddy. I know.
So it's like, is this just a exaggeration or is this real? It's, you know, it's one of them.
I'm out
Need
here
any more proof?
mushroom hunting and I found, there it is right there, the tick box. I'm not going to touch it because there's ticks all over that thing. I know there is.
I'm not going to touch it so
Look
he
at it
kicks
crawling out of it. Millions of them.
But,
You can
yeah.
see the tick. I'm out here mushroom hunting and I found,
Yeah, well, see,
there it is
this
right
what
there.
people are reporting. So, see, there's it again. Is this just a, you know, a thing that's got out of hand and somebody started it and it's spread and, you know, it's a lot of nonsense, or is it true? I mean, there's, you know, it's just, it's definitely getting a bit viral. You know, a lot of people have been hearing about it. You maybe heard about it, but you know, I think that's pretty much all I can really see on it there. It's all kind of much the same. I know. Right there, what's this? One tick bite made this man allergic to red meat. Now, 450,000 Americans are allergic to beef and dairy. It is a bit strange. How can all of a sudden ticks, you know, develop this thing where they bite humans and it specifically turns them off dairy? Well, makes them allergic to dairy and red meat. And if that number's real, then I think you can definitely say there's something strange, right? is it bioengineering, if that's the word, and is it a purposely designed weapon, a bioweapon to, attack humanity? If that is the case, we are in some serious trouble, because what else have they got planned? Let's be real. Let's see what this guy says.
My question I ask you is what fucking surface, what purpose do ticks have? Look at my face and my neck. I can't eat red meat anymore. I can't have any animal byproducts in anything. And it's in everything. This is alpha-gal syndrome. This is fucked up, man. Fuck ticks. I love to go hiking. This is fucking crazy. My question I ask you is what fucking surface, what purpose do ticks have?
Yeah, so you can see his face, like if this is real, this is concerning, very, very, very concerning. You imagine just going out for a nice stroll in the woods, with your family or friends or yourself, just going out, enjoying nature. You have a seat, you maybe sit down in the grass, and then you get home and you find you've got a tick on you. It's already bit you. There's nothing you can really do. They're tiny. You might catch it and you might be able to get it out, but the chances of it infecting you are high by that point, and this is what happens to you. I mean, this could be something very, very concerning, and it's like they're really, if you think of it in two terms, they're going to put people off going out into nature, right? And if you want to go down the 15-minute city setting or scenario, that would help them make people avoid wanting to go out in nature, and it would help them keep people more locked up. And also, the other side of it is that they can turn people allergic to red meat and dairy products, and then force us to eat, things that they are designing for us to eat. Some people say bugs, some people say lab grown meat. You know, what do you think? Is this reality, or is this all just nonsense? Or for me personally, what I know and what I've seen, I would not be surprised if this is done on purpose, because a lot of people are, brung, or they live in a system where you could call it the matrix, where you are programmed what they want you to believe and you think the way they want you to think. But the reality is you never know anywhere near close to what they're actually doing. I mean, it's literally like, smoke and mirrors. It's like the inversion, the inverted side of the world, where this is how yous have got to live. Do as I say, not as I do. And a lot of people just believe that there's, in my opinion, let's just say my opinion, I believe we're being run by the highest possible level of evil that a human can even reach. And I think that they're that evil, they keep finding other ways to push the boundaries of evil. And I believe that sadly, the people in power are trying to create hell on earth. That is what they want, but whilst gaining complete control. And what does the devil want to do? Control you, torment you, torture you, punish you, humiliate you. You know, that's not what a righteous person would do. And if you want to say God, that's not what God would do. God would want you to live freely and happily. You know, there's good and bad, and sadly, I think that if you look around the world, there's a lot of bad right now. So I'm just going to leave that video there, and I'm going to keep an eye on it and see what transpires. If it actually it might fizzle out and nothing more comes of it. But I'm presuming if this is a thing where ticks are biting people, they're catching these diseases where they can't eat meat, I think if it gets bad, you'll definitely be hearing a lot more about it. So time will tell. And I'll end the video there, and until the next one, take it easy.